Oh, not another nasty.
Mark, I need some help with my hybrids. Can you give me the top 5 rinky dink tips?
Yeah, you do need some help with the hybrids, come on. So point number 1 that I see people get a bit mixed up is ball position with a hybrid. Now, where there isn't a right and wrong ball position with a hybrid, there's certainly a playing field I like to see people move towards. So anywhere from the middle of your stance, moving up to a couple of inches inside of your left heel or your lead foot heel, or you could even play it off your lead foot heel for extreme ideas. The bigger problem I see with people with the hybrids is I definitely see people moving it up towards a driver position, so generally a little bit too far forwards. So when good players are hitting hybrids, they're actually hitting down 2, 3, 4 degrees down, not that far off an iron, not quite as much of an iron for the strong hybrid players, but not far off. By pushing it way forward in their stance, because they see it more as a little word, it's longer and it's obviously got the bigger head. What I see is people bottoming out early, catching thin ones, even slightly a little bit fat, and then they also really struggle out of the rough where you've got lots of long grass behind it. So the real sweet spot for me with my hybrid is around 2 inches inside lead heel, and if I move that ball position around in that playing field with a couple of inches, it just changes the shot shape. So play with your playing field anywhere from the middle to 2 inches inside that lead heel. Just don't get it driver stuck. It's not way off that lead foot. That does cause a little bit of issue. Tip number 2, think about your angle of attack. So angle of attack is the angle that club is coming in to hit the ball. Is it moving down? Is it level? Is it hitting up? And this obviously connects very much with ball position. I am trying to get my angle of attack feeling like it's relatively level with the ground, relatively sweepy, so I'm not trying to take massive divots, and I'm certainly not trying to hit up at it like I would with a driver when the ball's on the tee. My actual measured angle of attack, like I say, is 2 to 4 down, so I am hitting down. Again, the bigger problem with golfers with the angle of attack is they do tend to get that ball forward, like I said in the first ideas, and then they're really putting their driver tilts in, so they're making driver swings, turning behind it, driving hips forward, upper body back, and then again they're bottoming out early, fats and fins. And the thing is, if you don't get the hybrid struck a little bit more towards the middle, so not too far out the bottom, which you might do if you're hitting up too much, you won't get the distance that you want out of this club. You're going to get high spinner floaters if you get it out the bottom, or if you get it in the middles or even slightly off the top. This is where these clubs are really good at bombing, opposed to a long iron where if you hit the middle it's fine, but if you go above the middle with a long iron, it really falls out the air. So getting that strike right into the middle to even slightly higher is really good with the hybrid, and the best way to do that, obviously once your ball position is set, is make sure you are making in your mind, in your feelings, more of an iron based action. So I'm turning a little bit more on top of the ball. I'm not back here like I am with a driver. As I come through, I'm getting onto lead foot, then getting out a lead foot. That sends the club down. I'm not getting big tilts like I will with my driver to try and really send it up into the air. I'm accepting that the ball's on the ground, so I'm making a swing that's going to be related to that ground. Again, when you get the hybrids, the beauty of them is being able to play them in loads of different lies, downhill, uphill, sloping, bit of rough, by making sure your club is coming down as it hits the ball. Certainly when the ball's on a downhill slope, really good for digging down that slope and making sure your strike again is in that meaty part of this very friendly club. Then think about the lie. This is really important with a hybrid. One of the big mistakes I see golfers make again is relating it so much towards the driver. Try and think of these more like an iron. So what I'm talking about is this angle where it comes out. So the 9-iron, even though my posture's relatively similar, people often think of a driver out in front of them and their hands get lower, where with an iron they feel like they're a bit more upright in their posture. Then what I see with the hybrids, so if I start getting my hands low and the club way out in front of me thinking it is a driver, hybrids are built generally in a very upright lie, so they have a tendency to draw if you're a straight hitter. This is another reason why these clubs are so good. So many of you down the lens struggle with cutting the ball. This club is trying to help you not do that with its upright lie. Now, the more you get your hands really low at address, this can hit and dig and turn the club over, cause some pretty horrible strikes. And also, you then can get them turning a little too far left, which is a common reason why sometimes some of the better players say, I don't like hybrids, they always feel like they're going to go really left. So don't be afraid when you're out there practicing, playing with the lie of the club. Mine will default a little bit more to a upright stance with a hybrid, unless I do want to hit a big draw, and then what I'll do is I'll move ball position and not be afraid to let my handle go a little bit lower, and I'll let that lie work. Default reason for people struggling with their hybrids from the ground is they definitely go driver ball position, like I said at the start, tilt, and then they're kind of out here like they get with their driver. Club's just not sat on the ground in any way to connect anymore. Remember, your driver hopefully doesn't interact with the ground. So what happens when you hit a driver is it does hit like this. So it hits the ball with these dots, see these dots, like tilted this way. Okay, but you remember this isn't trying to interact with the ground, and it's a club with less loft, so that tilt has a smaller effect. When you put a bit more loft, this tilt has a bigger effect on where the face is pointing. Plus, 9 times out of 10, this club is going to have to interact with the ground, so we need to be getting that lie not too ridiculously this way, otherwise you can hit some poor strikes and you will struggle with it going left. That's how you hit one, Matt.
Oh,
that's a beauty.
I already want to hit my Rinky.
Yes, please. So I carry 2 hybrids, a 22-degree loft and this one's an 18. These clubs don't shape the same way. So this one is straight to a slight fade, but very easy to draw. This one is straight to a fade. Like, I have to work to draw that. So I won't fight that, I will play it. And this is one of the bigger problems I see with amateurs through all their clubs, but certainly when it comes to fairway woods and hybrids, just play their shapes. Like this one, I'm gonna aim at the left-hand bunker knowing that it's gonna generally move to the right. I am not gonna fight that. Where with the 22, if I wanted to fight it, I know I've got a few more weapons. I know I can actually do it. Making sure you're playing the shape of each loft of your hybrid is so important, because they're long clubs, they're hard to control. And the other thing, and this sounds so basic, is make sure you learn the shapes of them. That's what people don't do enough. I don't see many people come to a golf range with their hybrids in their hand. Driver, 7-iron, wedge. That's the general pattern when they go to the range. Make sure you're hitting with different lofts of your hybrids. Learn those patterns. Don't fight those patterns, just play them. That's how you get the most out of your hybrids. Other key with hybrids as well, I carry 2 and I stop at a 6-iron, so my 6-iron's my longest iron. Don't be afraid to have more of them. So it's such an ego thing around hybrids, and I see lots of golfers not having enough. Like, for a lot of you down the lens, there's no reason for you to have more than a 6-iron in your bag with current lofts the way they're going. Unless you just are good with them, keep doing it, obviously. But don't be afraid to have a 26 degree. If you find that hybrids are shots that you're starting to really enjoy and it gives you more options on the course, get more of them. Get a whole blooming set of them. That's where I'm headed, whole set of them. Bonus tip, when you're on the tee and you've got the option of using these tees, you can use that to your advantage, but you can also use the ground to your advantage as well. Let me show you what I mean. So ideas, I do see people teeing up a hybrid far too high. Like, it's not a driver. You are hitting down at it, remember, teeing it up really high, lots of skies, horrible shots. Be careful with that. So teeing it lower, getting it closer to the ground, so you've got a nice slide, but it's lining up more with the middle of the face is a great way of hoping to secure a better strike. Another thing that I will do, to be fair, I very rarely tee up my hybrid. What I will do with my hybrid is if I just play it from the ground medium lie, I'm going to definitely fade this with my lower lofted club. Like, I got no chance of it in a big draw with this. I'm going to hit straight to a little bit of cut. Then what I do is I might knock a little bit of turf up. This allows me to hit straight, little bit of draw, but it's going to default to my fade. And then if I teed it up, I feel like I'm just going to literally draw it, because again, it's playing into that lie idea that we talked about earlier. Using the tee to your advantage, so playing it from the ground, if you want to just make sure, out of bounds up the left, think about that. Playing it from the ground, always going to cut for lots of golfers. I'm never teeing it up on that hole, I'm going to put it on the ground. Maybe out of bounds down the right, I might think, oh, okay, I will tee this up, there's room on the left, and let it draw. Use the teeing ground to your advantage. If that means teeing it up every shot, go for it. But allowing you to use different shapes from the floor to a tee is a great way of just moving your skill level on, hitting more greens, hitting more fairways, and hitting better hybrid shots. Let me know if this video helps. Hopefully it doesn't help Coach too much, because I want him to stay pretty average with his hybrids. It's one of the advantages I've got over him.